My name Chose. I'm a photographer, videographer, a little bit. I dabble in it. I'm a photographer, and I do a bunch of shit. And I got a studio, all black studios in Oakland, in the town. And then it's off of High Street. I've been there for a year, and I've been shooting for like, it's 2021. Probably like almost 10 years or 10 or 11 years, somewhere around there. Yeah, 10 or 11 years. So,
my name's Dom, photographer, videographer from the Bay Area. I've been shooting for about 5 years now, going on 6. And I'm also at All Black Studios off of High Street with Chose. Just like my mentor, he kind of brought me up on everything, taught me everything I know. So, like all the stuff that I do now is kind of like what he helped with and everything like that, which is cool.
glad to have you on. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, welcome to Cloth Talk. Feel me? Like and subscribe. Don't forget, like and subscribe.
And hit that bell for the notification.
Man, don't forget. Shit, so we gonna get started. So you feel me? First question. You feel me? So like, how important is the photographer to like the fashion, like as far as like helping us brand ourselves, helping us, like get everything create a lifestyle, aesthetic. You feel me? Like how important is the photographer to that? Because as a brand, like when I first started, I was just like, I didn't think nothing else was important. I was like, all that mattered was the
clothes I'm wearing.
And then once I started, I was doing my shoots off my phone. You feel me? I wasn't like putting in no money into the other aspects of the fashion world, and I quickly found out that matters too.
Oh, right.
Like that matters too.
I mean, you think about it like this, right? The photographer, you can break it down to the simplest thing possible. The photographer can be the we ain't touching that camera right now, so the camera can be the photographer for you. All you gotta do is set a timer, right? Without that camera, there is no picture. Without that picture, nobody knows what you're wearing exists. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, without the camera, it ain't no fashion. And that goes back to the first evidence in fashion photography and what people use today as reference of what back then even looked like. You know what I'm saying? Like, without the camera, it don't exist. So, I mean, it's the most important factor in fashion. It's photographers at every event right up the front, because the person at the front is more important than the people in the back. So, you know what I'm saying? Without the camera, it just don't exist. That's the most important thing. That documents history. It takes pictures and molds time.
It's also like storytelling too. Like depends on what artist it is and everything. Like photographer, like they could paint a story for your brand and everything like that, which could help like build that brand up and everything. And like you said, like taking off your phone and stuff like that. Like you can still do that. It doesn't matter what type of camera it is. It's just I feel like it's all on the type of photographer, like how they can portray
the story that you use with that medium. Like an iPhone is fire. Like I would say more important than you hiring somebody to shoot is you finding out where your clothes at. Where are they at? When you go outside, where do you see your clothes? You see them in that city. You see them in the hood. You see them here. You see them where. Create a story based on where you see them and document people wearing your clothes in that scenario. Now you got a storyline behind it. It means something. You know what I'm saying? People are able to relate it to something. Oh, that's what they wear in the hood? Let me go ahead and give me one of those, because I want to be one of the niggas that just wearing it, because that's what they wear in the hood. And I'm from the hood. Right? I want to relate it to something. Oh, that's what they wear? That's what all of the rappers is wearing right now? Oh yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Let me rock that. Oh, I'm going on this show tonight. What do they usually wear when they go on that show? Let me see. Okay, bro, wear this type of fit. They wear this type of fit. Okay, that's what it is. You create a storyline based on where you see people wear something. When you go to New York Fashion Week, you're not going to go to New York Fashion Week thinking we're going to see this on stage. You probably won't even see this in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what do people wear? Let's take a picture. Let's create a storyline around it. We know what that looked like. We know what a lot of this shit looked like, because it's programmed in our head, because they created a story or a scenario around it, and they captured it that way. So now it's just a brand to us in our head. It ain't even got to have a name. We just know what it looked like. You know what I'm saying? When you go somewhere, you know what people are going to look like based on your idea of it, because we've seen images that portrayed that. So it's like, it's literally the camera. Without the camera, it's not. It's just that important.
I learned quickly that what you're saying matters. Like as far as like first, my first photo shoot, literally, I literally went outside. Me and my partner just went. I had my first few hoodies. We just went on my phone, just took some pictures, just so I could have something.
Yeah.
Thinking like it was just gonna go. I mean, and looking at how now you seem like now I pay photographers and I actually rent the studio for a particular time now. Like you can see the evolution, like it look way different. Like look like I put more effort and time.
You put time right there too. A big part of it is consistency. Like you could think of it a number of ways. No matter how you do it though, your brand is gonna progress. So if you took the picture 4 years straight, you took pictures on your phone, your brand gonna progress, no matter what, because you're consistent. More people gonna see it. You're gonna interact with more people over time. That's gonna encourage them to see your brand. It's gonna happen. That's just facts. That's how consistency works, right? But the difference between consistency and business acumen and just business in general, right? Not even just business acumen. You want to talk about all business in general. When you delegate, then it goes even further. Because now you got more people who know about what you do, right? Meaning, I'm going to post the work. It's your brand. The people who see your brand going to come to my page to look at your work. The people who look at my work already going to see your brand from my work, right? Now you got an extra set of eyes. It's going to boom faster, right? Now you got somebody who shoot videos, right? Everybody who watched that videographer gonna see your stuff on that page. So now it's gonna go even higher. You know what I'm saying? So consistency first. After that, you gotta delegate and shit. Shit gonna start popping off because the more people you work with, the more eyes you're gonna see. The longer you do it, the more you're gonna see completely. That's just the way it is. I told somebody that the other day. Like you literally, I don't know. He said something like, "It just didn't work. It didn't pop off. I wasn't able to do it." It's like, no, you failed at all of that shit. That's fine. But the reason why you failed is because you wasn't consistent. Your business can't go if you're not doing it every day. If you're doing it every day, it don't matter. The niggas on TikTok ain't getting TikTok famous in one day. I mean, it happens. I'm not saying that, but the majority of these niggas on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they popping from years of work. I don't even post on Instagram no more like that. I posted for the first time today in almost 2 months. And it might have been actually over 2 months. But I don't get paid off Instagram no more. You know what I'm saying? And if I do get paid off Instagram, all of my work is relevant either way. So it's like, it's there. Niggas gonna see it, and that stands the time of however long I didn't post. So it's like, I'm still gonna get paid off that anyway. So as long as you working, it's gonna grow. But the other part is figuring out how to delegate, and that's gonna make everything bigger. That's why hiring a photographer, and that's why the camera is so important, because now you're not doing it yourself. You got somebody else doing it for you who has a market for that already, who has, eyes on that already. Niggas got fans. Like, Jaquil got people who look at his work. You know what I'm saying? Papa got niggas who look at his work. You feel me? Like, that's just the way it is. Now you got all of the niggas who look at their shit. Oh, you fuck with such and such? That's the way the hood work. You fuck with bro, we good. Let me support you. Feel me? That's how Too Short got on. That's how E40 got on. That's how all of the niggas got on. Like, through shit like that. Because they talked to somebody else and had them do the work for them. And now you feel me? Oh yeah, I was just slapping your song. Too Short said it in an interview. Yeah, bro, they was playing my song. I walked up, they was playing my song in the hood, in the village. And now he hear all of these niggas around him making the music. And now they asking him, hey bro, I want to buy a tape. And they said they wanted to buy a tape. So I went back, I made like 10 tapes. And I came back and it was all gone that day. And that's when I knew. Delegate. Get that shit off. Get that shit in other hands. And now delegating is something as simple as you already doing it. That's how you making your living. You sending sending orders off, driving up, wherever you got to do. Get people your merch. Now you delegate. You creating virtual and physical advertisements. You got people who posting your image in the virtual world. That's an advertisement for you every time. Like, you already shit. But it don't happen without delegating.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Biggest part is that camera, though. Because a picture can go anywhere. You can't. We ain't gonna get up today and just dip off to New York. Man, feel me, rich like that, we can go. But we got the money to do it. But that money could definitely be put somewhere else. You feel me?
gotta be back.
You gotta come back. So it's like, feel me, like, picture go everywhere.
Yeah, like I said, like I just learned quickly, like over time, like it isn't just about the clothing. It's about the, like I said, I made now the graphic designer I have, when I have my vision for the logo. I need a certain like that.
Yep.
It's just as simple as Googling an image and then putting up. No,
Yeah.
I need a photographer to come. Okay, listen, he can touch this up. He can look. We're talking about the eye. It can be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe, like I may not see something, but they see it. Like, oh, you might. Put your shoulders back or put your leg up.
Yeah,
something simple.
Small shit.
Just something simple like that. Like, you feel me? And it just changed the whole look of what you got going. You feel me? So I learned over time, like that's really important. It's like it isn't just about the physical organ I got on.
Yeah.
It takes it's a whole other section of this that you gotta tap into for this to
There's psychology behind it all too. It's like, I mean, you think about it in this way, right? A woman she gonna look at a picture and she gonna rip that image apart to tell you what's ugly, why it's ugly, who ugly in it,
Why she don't like
why
it.
she don't like every single reason why she like it. She gonna diagnose it and tell you why, right? It's psychology behind all of that. So it's like if they don't see themselves in that image, then everybody in that image and the image as a whole is ass.
That's what I'm learning right now, like especially trying to like drop a summer collection. Like, I'm trying to be inclusive to all sides.
Oh, you have to
all
be.
that shit. Like that shit is so important. I never realized how like important that is. Like just for fashion in general. Like if you don't see yourself in something, bro, like it's not going.
The photography you got also matters too, because some photographers like they specialize in certain things. You know, I'll be letting y'all take pictures and make them look raw, but like. One like he might specialize in studio, and one might be like his specialization is outside, like environment. You know what I'm saying? One might be like action shots, you know, like sports. You know, like I noticed like as I pay attention, once you find your lane, you kind of don't really venture outside of that. They kind of like that's why you got like the photography, like we have the like the football games, the basketball games, and stuff. They got to be in studio doing fashion. We got the other ones that be outside doing nature, you know what I'm saying? Because all that is different and take different amounts of stuff to get into it. And it's like that's a whole different. Each one takes a whole different amount of time and effort and look to know. You know, they said it's crazy to me though. Like you wouldn't think though. Like just basing off of I'm saying. I'm just taking pictures like to for my brand so I can have stuff available. Like, there's so much more that goes into that.
Completely. It's a whole other job. It's a whole other. Finding a photographer is a whole other job. Finding somebody who do the job, there's somebody hired for that. Like you have a whole person who does that job. So it's like it's a whole other thing. There's so much more that go into it. Which is why so many people that do all of these different. It's pointless ass jobs, and it's like you got people who hold the lights that the photographer is using on set. You got niggas who might click the camera for the photographer. You know what I'm saying? Like it's niggas who sit at the screen and make sure that everything is in focus. There's so many different jobs. You hire the right person for the job though, and you get what you pay for in that moment. So yeah, it's so much more that go into it as even as a photographer. Like, the nigga who shoot the clothes, he gonna be raw, and he might not even be dope, right? Just think of this, but he gonna be better at shooting clothes or making sure that you don't miss certain details on the clothes than somebody like me, right? I shoot and I'm all around. I'm decent. I can take a picture of anything, right? I started out walking around taking pictures of people and documenting the hood and all that type of stuff, and then progressing into other stuff where now I'm doing stuff that I'm gonna make money for. But like I still might not think, oh, let me fold the clothes this way so I don't miss this part of it. You know what I'm saying? Or like I shot a bike a while ago. The picture was raw, right? I took pictures of this bike. It was fire. But like my homeboy hit me on Instagram. He was like, bro, you might want to flip the bike around because all of the niggas who like bikes, they want the chain face to the outside. You got to face to the inside. Stuff like that.
You know
what I'm saying? I never saw that. Like, that's
small.
great.
So you might have niggas who's great at what they do, but the person who's specified in that, who specializes in that, knows like, okay, this is how it should be done. Yeah, he raw. I might not be able to shoot as well as him, but that nigga don't know what he's doing.
Right.
Because the bike on the wrong side. So they're not declining or use the photo anyway.
Yeah, so just something small. It's literally just putting it back on the other side. Like,
Yeah.
you just
Shit like that. Find the right person, find the right photographer, and that's why I say it's like it's an actual job.
yeah, no, definitely. Like I done seen it for myself too. Like I done seen like a photographer I use. Like I took some pictures. Like and he showed me before and after. Like say for example, he took a picture of a hoodie, and then like he'll bring the color out, something more that I wouldn't even thought it to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just to like, I don't just think take a picture, like to make it look clean. And
Yeah.
I'm posting on my website, my Instagram, so I can sell it. But he like, I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna make the color pop more. It's gonna bring your attention. And he showed me with like, but like naked eye, I wouldn't have even noticed it. Like,
Yeah, you wouldn't pay attention to it because you didn't know what it looked like in the first
I'd
place.
have been like, all right, that picture look cool to me.
Like,
Show me that after. Yeah, but you show me that after.
picture.
You show me that after with the, I'm like, hey, you know what? That does look better. That's tight. You feel me? Just something like that. You feel me? Like where. To me, like that's like it's an art. You feel me? They putting in, so it definitely matters.
I mean, they you paid them for it for a reason.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good. That definitely matters like a whole lot. I mean, that's other stuff that go into it too, though. Like you feel me? Finding like the background matters, or like the environment you in matters, depending on what you're going for.
Yeah.
Because like if you're going for a studio, a studio's kind of control the environment. You know, you kind of put what you want there. When you're outside and environment, like that's whatever's there, it's gonna be there. Like you ain't moving that. You feel me? So what you going for, you gotta depend on what you're going for. But you know, that definitely, you feel me? It definitely makes a difference for sure.
Make the biggest difference, bro.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
That's how you know. That's how people know what to see you as, or how to categorize you. I mean, we live in a world full of category, so it's like that's how people know where you stand. Like it's that image, that photo. So your shit look trash on that first one, and you trying to come into that community, and that community that your photo stands in says trash. So
it's done.
They gonna write you up quick.
yeah,
And they gonna get you out of there.
Get you out of here too. Nah, I get it.
faster than ever. It's gonna be done.
So like, how can a photographer help a person like me, like a brand, who's like trying to, you know what I'm saying, get to A to B, you know, get to B to C, you know, all that line? How can, you know, what can they add? If I was just a random person, who I didn't know, how can you help me get to, you know?
I want to kind of add to the back of that question. I want to even know that like photographers like y'all think like that. Like, you know, like for example, in the music industry, if you do music, you kind of get with a producer and y'all try to develop a sound.
You going where I was about to go. Right?
You know what I'm saying? So, okay, cool. So let me, you can go ahead then.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Like, how can
Like, do y'all develop sounds?
No, we're not saying. I didn't say I'm
But
like
you
a
know
look.
what I mean?
Yeah, literally a look.
I mean, I went to
Yeah,
college
bro.
for music, the whole shit. Like I grew up doing like my whole life. Oakland School for the Arts, Amherst Middle School, E. Morris Cox. All of the shit was like all music. I was trained to be a musician until I was like 22 or 23, and I'm about to be 29. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was literally trained. So it's the same exact thing. The reason I started taking pictures was because of the principles of that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you literally developing a sound. I mean, it's visual,
The look.
but sound is the same thing as look. It's the actual same thing. So it's like, you feel me? You developing somebody's sound. It's important if you hire somebody to work for you and not to just shoot your brand for the day, right? Like, and when I say that, I'm talking about like consistent content from the same person is gonna look, you know, sound and concise. It's gonna look like it's everything matches. It's like the reason that all of these white folk getting these jobs is because they've been shooting for the company for 10 years, right? They've been shooting for. So why would I hire anybody else if this is what our label, our brand, our artists, it looked like, and it's been working. It's not gonna fit no more. The puzzle ain't gonna fit. I can't use a different part of the puzzle to fit right here because that piece fit right here already. So it's like that's important, and I feel like that's probably the most important. But the good thing nowadays is it's more than one person that does what we do, the way we do it, because of the internet. Somebody else, like you learn how to do what you do from watching somebody else do it, which is the way the world works right now. Niggas make beats, like Timbaland make a beat, right? YG make, a song. Most of the hooks that he had, not the last two albums, but the previous albums, most of those hooks, Kamaya wrote those hooks, right? Because he hired her to do that because it fit what he was going on. So why not? Why would I hire anybody else to write those hooks when Kamaya been writing these hooks and they all sound like hit? You feel me? That's the brand. You know what I'm saying? And until they clashed, but like that's the brand. That's what it is. So it's very important because that's how businesses get successful. But the good thing, like I say now, is you might not need to get that one person because Don might be able to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? One, because I taught them, but it's also a bunch of people who do the same work as me the way I do it online now. Because everything is so much more accessible than it used to be. So it's kind of a different world. But the recommendation for people who are in the fashion world and create clothing, like find you somebody that you fuck with who does what you know, y'all vision kind of aligns. Y'all see the work together and y'all like, damn, okay, we can take this somewhere and we can build onto this idea. Find that person and try to rock with them forever. Even if you paying that person nonstop. Even every single time you need work, you pay that person to do that job. That's building that relationship. Eventually, y'all gonna be a business. I came them together. Bam, we working because as long as your brand going up, his brand going up. As long as his brand or her brand going up, your brand going up. You know what I'm saying? It has to happen. That's just the way that the world works. You push, something is pulled, you know, somebody on the other side just taking all of that energy from you, pulling it, and putting it back out there. They push it right back. Same person, unless they just not working and they lazy. Don't find them. Don't hire them. It's that important. That's how important it is. Like the moment you lock in, the reason Tom Brady is Tom Brady is because of that. He fit. That nigga is gonna get them a championship. That's why he was with the Patriots for so long.
Yeah.
They hired him for the job. He was the right man for the job. And no matter who you put around him, it was gonna happen. And that's what you want to hire. That's the photographer you want. And that's the business that the photographer want to work with. Because no matter who I put around you, I know your shit gonna go up. So I'm in there. And I'm good with it. I might even give you a discount every time we work. You know what I'm saying? That type of vibe is what you want to go for. You want to find somebody. Like, so you find that, you good, you win it.
I don't know, I can speak for myself, that shit kind of like hard and fun. I didn't like I was looking too much, but for example, like, but one thing is like a lot of people is crossing over and doing each other's job, and like kind of like what you just said. For example, like your photographer gonna come out with a clothing line, and that's not a bad thing. You feel me? You gonna support whatever, but it's like, I don't know. I guess I'm raising this question to everybody. Like, how do you look at that? Like, if you, me or whatever, you whatever, you know, you got clothing, and then a photographer that you were trying to develop the thing with, they kind of like, they not just strictly photography. Is that like a problem? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not their main focus. Like, you ain't crafting. Like, for example, somebody like y'all two is crafting at this shit. You feel me? Like, it's a difference. You just got a camera and you trying to find your way, which is nothing wrong with that. You feel me? Trying to find your way.
That's the difference right there. You just said it. You just got a camera and you just trying to find your way. That's the difference.
I feel like you're gonna be able to tell though, like
Not for sure.
if they
But
they be trying to fuck with you.
Even if you can't though, that's the difference. Right? A photographer trying to find his way and dibble and dabble, like they could be great at something. They could be great at photography too while they're doing it. But somebody who's trying to find their way is not trying to be placed into something long term. So you're not gonna that's the important part. Consistency and showing them that, because niggas don't have an example. Like they literally don't have an example, bro. Like playing music, right? The only niggas that niggas look at and say, oh, this fire as fuck, and whatever. Interrupt me too, because I get along with it. I talk. He'll take it. But like Prince, right? Everybody, what you know Prince for? What y'all know Prince for? Everything. Like Purple Rain. But that nigga made everything on Purple Rain. He played every instrument. Every single instrument, bro. Every instrument. What other nigga can you name who play every instrument?
I mean, me personally, I got a cousin.
Yeah.
Not
like that, but like that's
my
national scale.
My cousin, he got credits on Kendrick's last album.
Mm-hmm.
He plays like the trumpet and the saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
He all like you Google him right now. He got credits on like he's really that nigga. Like he's really a guy like in the music.
And how long you been like cool with your cousin? Like when y'all was younger? Was y'all rocking?
He way older than me.
He way older than you?
He like 40, so like he like the OG.
But how long he been in your life?
Since as long as I've been born, so I'm 24. So
you remember him in moments and seeing him do certain shit? you was exposed to that.
Yeah.
He didn't have to tell you shit.
No.
If he'd have told you to be a trumpet player, you're gonna make $1 million in 10 years when you was like 10, would you have believed him?
Nah, cause I ain't gonna lie, it
You
was
know what I'm
rough.
saying?
That's
what I mean.
The first few years of him doing it was rough. Like I ain't gonna lie. Like,
That's exactly what I'm saying right there, right? It ain't even on me to expose you to none of that shit, but it's on me to show you that shit. Because the moment I show you, and part of showing somebody is telling them, right? I'm showing you what it takes to do what I do. Now let me go ahead and continue to show you. Watch my back, because you're gonna see it anyway. Because now I gotta leave you behind, and I'm sorry that gotta happen, but I gotta do it because you need to see it. That's just what it is, right? You seen that. Niggas didn't see that. I told my great grandma before she passed away, I said I got into the most prestigious music school in the country. I'm the first one in my school to do it. I'm the first one in the family to go to college. So it's like, I got in there. Oh yeah, you should go be a doctor. Why you want to be a doctor? What? You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But it ain't her fault.
It's just the way she,
Yeah.
you feel me? She
And she grew up, her parents were slaves. Grandpa slaves. Like, everybody slaves. You feel me? She got a sneak in the back of the house. So it's like, you know, the mindset ain't there. We didn't have shit to begin with. Now we got a little piece of something. We want to hold on to what we got. That's the crab in the bucket shit. We bring people down on accident. J. Cole said it in the song. He said, if they don't know your dreams, then they can't shoot them down. That's sad as fuck. That's depressing. The fact that you can't tell nobody your ambitions, that's depressing as fuck.
Now, I'm a firm believer in words of affirmation. Like, you speak something into existence.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like how you going to your dream. Like my dream, really, I want to be the biggest brand ever. Like I want my shit to be like.
You want your shit to pop?
Yeah, I want my
That's
shit to
okay.
be bigger than Louis,
I understand that, bro.
Gucci, bigger than Ballman.
It's niggas literally on Twitter getting butchered for saying they the best this, they the best that. Best rapper, best. Draymond said, I feel like I'm the best defensive player in the league.
He got hit for it.
And everybody bringing
Right?
it up.
No, nothing is wrong with him thinking that.
Yeah, no,
Think that shit.
You supposed to think you the best at your craft, even though it's always room for improvement. But you supposed to feel like I feel like my brand is the rawest brand ever.
Mm-hmm.
You may not think that, but I personally feel that my brand is the
You
rawest
better.
brand ever.
And I wouldn't want to work with nobody who didn't think that.
That confidence.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's an opinionated world, so you
Yeah.
feel me? You gonna get opinions regardless. If you don't think your shit clean, nobody else gonna think your
somebody
shit
not gonna fuck with you.
and that's okay.
Exactly. And that's a given. So it's just like, you gotta show niggas. Because the fact that Drake make the shit that Drake make, the nigga saying he don't fuck with Drake and Drake copy this person and Drake do that. Like, I grew up in the hip hop world. I grew up in the rap world. Like, so I know that a lot of the shit, repetition is always the father of learning, and every person that's great has done it. You know what I'm saying? We steal from each other. That's what we're supposed to do. That's the reason why you come up under people. That's the reason why you watch people. That's the reason why images exist, and that's the reason why images will always be the forefront of every movement. Because of the fact that we copy people. Every word that we know came from somebody else or from another language. That's why niggas be like, the Latin way of saying this is blah blah blah, or the Latin meaning for this is, or what's the root word? The root word is a perfect example of it. The root word came from such and such. Repetition, seeing somebody else do it, copying. But it's like, you know, we don't have none of that shit. We don't have nothing. We don't have a thing.
We build it.
We here right now, unify today, but that's what we doing. We trying to unify the motherfuckers. Because I mean, like, it's too much going on out here for us not to be, you know what I'm saying, together. Like, I feel like you make more money together, you do separate.
Facts. I mean, without a doubt. It's crazy though, because it's a whole deeper thing. It's like you can even raise the question as if something like that would ever happen. Because the shit that we go through and talk about and disagree on in the hood, in the black community, it's other communities of races that don't go through any of those issues at all. They don't have those issues.
Definitely.
Right? But some of those issues is major issues that will, you know,
to us,
take us away from the end result anyway.
Yeah.
We can't get there. Because
definitely.
so it's like you could raise that question because you think about the fact that greed exists. It's a thing. Somebody's gonna make more than somebody else. Somebody's gonna see the opportunity to benefit off of stepping on your back. So it's like In what world do you see in the next 100 years one person giving up everything for the end goal of everybody else?
To be honest, nigga,
And that's what it takes, because I can guarantee you right now that if all black people, if we had the opportunity, if the opportunity was presented for all of us to own every white corporation, that one white person gonna step out and say, I'm not letting that shit happen. I'm not willing to give up and sacrifice all my shit for y'all.
I mean,
But they gonna make sure that they, you feel me? And I'm not saying we need to do and copy and use and reuse that same mindset to do it. I'm just saying it's way deeper than like trying to unify the base. I want to do that. I'm all about that. Niggas will tell you. You mention my name to anybody, any rapper who might know me or see my work, I guarantee you somebody has seen my work. That you walk up randomly and like, oh yeah, I probably somewhere I've seen this work. He did this with such and such. Somebody has seen it. Somebody that you know.
Yeah.
So it's like if you walk up to them people and you talk to them and show them, but then I ask them the next day, okay, invest $1,000 in them. All I got is $1,000, nigga.
that's just how you talking about. You just gotta roll the dice sometimes. You gotta roll that dice.
Exactly. So it's like it's gonna progress everybody. It's gonna build everybody up in the end. I promise you.
I feel like though, like you're gonna be able to tell, like if somebody, like say for example, a photographer, they're not really all in, like to something like to what they're doing. Yeah, photographer gonna be able to tell, like maybe you don't have to tell immediately, but at some point it's gonna come out. Like,
I can tell just by being a person that's all in on what I'm doing. Like, you know a craft from you see a fellow crafting from you got your craft, you know, my craft. But it's like they'll come to me. They ain't like I was seeking you. Like you tell me, like, bro, let me do this. You don't even gotta give me no money, and I'm still giving man. You know what I'm saying?
So why? So I worked at a coffee shop. The last coffee shop I was at for 10 years. I worked in coffee for it was 5 or 6 years, but I worked in coffee total for 10 years, right? Now it's a thing with coffee shops. When you get hired and you sign these papers, you can't work at another coffee shop because that's your competitor. So you can't work. You can't intermingle with those two coffee shops as like an employee. It's not gonna happen. But like in the business world, all of these companies intermingle no matter what. So the same person who owned Dunkin' Donuts is owned by the last coffee shop I worked at, right? Who also owns Keurig, who also owns fucking, I don't know, part of Snapple, just a bunch of different stuff, right? All of these business owners, like the niggas who own the shit, the 8 kids who own Pete's and all of those other companies that I was just naming, like literal, like probably maybe 5 years older than me, all own this company, is because of shit like that. So it's like it shouldn't be an issue at the boss level, at the CEO level. It shouldn't be an issue. If you're the creator of your business and I'm the creator of mine, and people find out that I make music and I do fitness or whatever, and then I also take pictures, it shouldn't be a conflict of interest unless you want it to be a conflict of interest, unless you're saying that you want somebody who specializes in that. That's different. But that's not a negative thing that they do two things. Then that's why I say it's a difference. You'll find out, because those people who are not like who not trying to do that, let you know that that's not what I'm trying to do. Like the way you're making it seem is like this person don't even know if they really want to do the other thing I'm hiring them for in the first place. But it's like that person is already you gonna know. You're gonna weed that out, right? But if that person does what you want them to do great, and they just want to dabble in something else, and because it's people who are great and amazing at the job they do. It's football players who retired early because they don't want to retire, but they were good for those 2 years that they played. They were great. They contributed to the team in a way nobody else on that field was going to be able to contribute. But they want to do something else. They heart ain't really in that. They amazing at it, but they heart ain't really in that. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's nothing wrong with that, but make sure that that person is amazing at what they doing for you.
Yeah.
And then you're able to use, because we all use each other. Everything is a transaction, and that's the way that I was making it. I was trying to, convey with like hiring the right photographer, and your market is now going to see me, and my market is now going to see you. It's all a business transaction. Every relationship, all of it is a business transaction, right? If we all have a great conversation today, some pop up, and somebody said, hey, we looking for a clothing line. The clothing line that they looking for happen to represent everything that you say. By the fact that we had good conversation at my studio that day, is gonna make me recommend you.
Your name out there.
You know what I'm saying? So nothing else matters as long as you're good at what you do. Right? You can dabble in, a nigga can be a fry cook and be the best fry cook in town, but that nigga make the best videos you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
Or he make videos good enough that's good enough to make your brand look good. He might not be the best right now, but he's making your brand look fire, and you're able to work with him. Work with that nigga. Let that nigga be the fry kicker today, and try to figure out a day where y'all can work, so you can get your, you feel me? And keep working with bruh.
Absolutely.
Because you still gonna get your content while you can, because I guarantee you're gonna find somebody and know how to find somebody now who's able to do what he does and a little more, because you know he don't want to do it all the way. But you fuck with him enough to know how shit work a little bit. So now you know what to look for. You ain't accepting no less. That's how relationships work. You break up with somebody, now you gotta level up. Otherwise, like, niggas don't like going backwards. Like, what are you doing? So I feel like that. Like, you see it off jump. You're going to find out. One way or another, you're going to find out. But are they doing what you paid them to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. You fuck with it. But if they not, don't hire them. Do not. Because some people can't, you know, multitasking ain't real in the first place. Like, in the art world, doing two things at once is. So it's like, you can do, you know, multiples. Don't knock them for it. If they don't do what you pay them to do, though, great. Don't fuck with them. But I think it's cool to do it. I think it's great to do it, because that mindset builds what we need in the black community, because we don't have that. You don't have niggas doing multiple things. You got niggas who do one thing and believe that you should only do one thing. And that's why we miss out on so much money. That's why Nike takes up all of our money. Almost every dollar that the black community contributes to the world goes to Nike. That's crazy. $3 trillion, bro, goes to Nike. That's not bad. Nike fire. I mean, I'm wearing Nikes. You wearing Nikes. You wearing a sub company in Nike. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's fire as fuck. But the reason that Nike is what it is because Nike doesn't only do one thing, they do tons of other. And I guarantee you, the people who own Nike don't only have Converse and Jordan and all of that. They got more companies that they invest into that they're a part of. The moment you invest into that company, you own part of the company. I own a small ass, the tiniest piece, but I own a piece of Tesla. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the moment you invest in that mindset of being able to do more than one thing, it makes you an entrepreneur. He wears more than one hat. He's doing 1,000 jobs. He might not be the best at all of them, but he's the best at one, and he's good enough to do the rest. You know what I'm saying? And that's where that's where you draw the line. If they're not good enough at what they're doing and they try to do multiple things, you can't work with that person. But if they make it happen, because that's like, I don't know.
It was tricky, but I guess I was raising the question of really like, should I work?
Yeah.
Because, and it's not like, not greater than, but it's like doing a decent, and it was a free thing. It wasn't even like wanting me to pay him for it. It was like, bro, I'm just gas, but then I'm still gonna pay me type of gas. And it's like a little bro looking up to me type thing, so I was really fucking with it. But yeah,
think about what you're trying to teach them too, though. Yeah, little bro, right? Like, I work with niggas just off strength because I know it's something that I can get them that they're not gonna get
From nobody else.
Nobody else. Because of the way I think, because of the way the world worked, they just so happened to see me in the right place at the right time. It was meant to happen. All of the game I got is meant to be given to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So think about it like that too. Like, work is free. It ain't hurting nobody by it being free, bro. I mean, what's the odds? You feel me? You got time on your hands. We not the most important businessmen right now. You know what I'm saying? We making money.
you know, these young, I don't even say it's just young people, but you know, like, when a person outside of, like, I call it, that's my language to say crafting. Like, if you ain't really too young, go home with hours and shit, they be tricky. Like, I guess because bro, and this is my little bro, I still fucking with whatever, but he damn near, I damn near book like a room just so we can have some shoots set up with like white screen, all shit, cat off type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, probably running with females, like, you know, the young nigga shit. You know? But it's like after that, it's like, man, I don't stop fuck with you, bro. I just pay like 100 something. You feel
So
me?
remember,
I could've been
I
at
think
the
it was. I don't know if you was here yet, but you might not have been. But I said something about like how consistency, like you got to do something every day, and you show people, and don't talk to them about it. Just do it. Once you do it every day, it's because niggas where we from don't know that shit is real. They don't take shit seriously. When it's not like oh, I gotta be at my job at 8, bro. Like I gotta be there. I'm not about to be late.
Like life or death.
You give me like I'm not about to be late to my job, bro. That's a guaranteed check that they can see on the 1st and the 15th, like he mentioned earlier. I don't get paid that way. My next check might come middle of next month. You know what I'm saying? I might not get a check to the month after that. Off work that I already did. I just know it's coming. But that's only because I did the work. As much as I, could every single day to get to the point to where now I can sit at the house and stream video games for hours. I mean, now I'm making a little bit of bread from it, but a year ago I was talking to nobody online. You know what I'm saying? I was able to bullshit and cat off though and be on the game for hours. But niggas don't see that you doing something enough to where they gonna be able to do the same thing that they want to do. You're gonna be able to go cat off with the same girls that you was chilling with later down the line, but for right now, you got to put in the footwork.
Yeah.
And that's that consistency. But none of that happens without an example. Because only niggas who are able to do that is probably a rapper, a basketball. I mean, we talked about it, football player. We don't see that, or a drug dealer out front of the house. Like, we don't see that shit in no other lane. So niggas don't believe it. So they gonna cat off on you. But like, you got two responsibilities as that person. One, to let them know, right? Or show them. Either way, you're gonna be showing them something. But your main responsibility, your first responsibility was to tell them. After that, I didn't show up for a job one day. It was a wedding, and I was assisting on it. And assisting, it means a bunch of things in the photography world. But for weddings, you just a second photographer. You might run and change batteries and grab lens and all that, but after that, you pick that camera up again, you start taking pictures of the stuff that the main photographer is not taking pictures of, right? I didn't show up one day. I also didn't let OG know. I didn't have a dad growing up, none of the shit. Like, my dad got killed when I was 3. I barely even remember, only no pictures, so I'm just placing the face to shit anyway. So, like, only no pictures. Like, ain't nobody told me the way he broke it down to me, like, bro, you a man. And when you convey your word to somebody, that shit stands. And that's what they judge you off of. So if you tell me you're gonna show up and you don't show up as a man, especially in a place where niggas don't show up in the hoods, like niggas just don't show up the way they should show up. You remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Like growing up, you remember everybody who didn't show up for you.
Every time.
So the moment you don't show up as you get older, right? Somebody already know. But they make sure, as a black man, you need to make sure to let them know where they fucked up at. So you can continuously show them and also subconsciously let them know that this is how life is. This is how it works. This is how